Welcome everybody to this episode of Relic News. We're just getting ready to call Henry Moore. Some of you might know him as Keebler on the Stealth Diggers videos. We're going to find out a little more about Henry, so stay tuned. So how are you?
Oh, good.
It's so nice to finally talk. I've been wanting to talk to you since last year, since I started Relic News. All I remember is the first time I had seen you on Stealth Diggers, I was just like, I absolutely love your personality.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Can you tell me?
Are we starting?
In a moment. So tell me, Henry, when was the very first time you ever even heard about a metal detector or seen a metal detector?
73. I was actually in the service. It wasn't called a metal detector. It was called a landmine detector.
Whoa!
Yeah.
And when was it that you purchased your first metal detector or landmine finder?
Well, that one was issued to me in the service and came with a big thick manual, and it's like, man, this is kind of cool, and be able to find like old guns and knives and stuff, and that was that. But after probably in the 80s, because I was really intrigued with it.
And what metal detectors have you owned since 1973?
Here's one of the first ones.
Wow. Vintage.
Very vintage. And of course there's the Radio Shack model. Look at that coil. And of course I have 7 children, so we all metal detect.
Cool.
You see Kyle and Tim and Ivy a lot. Well, so, but Kyle mostly in the videos.
And there's a story. Keebler-san comes running over and says, some kid just dropped his phone into the river, and it's quite the drop. And they went on, and everyone laughed at him and took pictures of it.
Look at the kids up there watching them. They're like, oh my God.
And then they left. So Keebler-san, being the guy with the initiative's like, I'll go get it. So he makes the trek all the way around the big stone wall, gets himself down into the water.
Let me know how the leeches are.
What are you going to say about your boy there?
Well, he's a go-getter. He's going to go get that phone. You're halfway there. This way a little bit. Yeah, there you go.
I'll have it up on eBay by dinner time. Split it with you.
Yeah, okay. So is the Galaxy 5 waterproof?
Apparently.
I guess so. Smooth sailing.
Goes all the way up the river, picks up the phone.
Is that silver? What color is it?
Looks at it, throws it up to Keebler.
Up and high.
Nice catch. Unbelievable. Now that's a recovery.
That was way too fun.
Stealth Diggers will go to all different lengths, and you just made it out. Look at the cop over there looking at the other area.
Come to find out, the damn thing was fake.
It looks too real.
So you tell me you went through all that and it's not...
I think it's just frozen. Because it looks like someone has used it before.
Yeah, it's got a little crack in the bottom.
Couldn't figure out why it had stayed on so long underwater. So we figured we would have ourselves a real good time with that phone.
Move that rock. Yeah. So we have a couple of fishers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Garretts, and 1, 2, 3 Mine Labs.
Wow. Wow, you're really equipped, but I guess with the 7 kids, you have no choice.
Oh, yeah. And of course, my XP Deus that I use exclusively now.
Nice. And do you like the XP Deus?
Oh, yes, without a doubt. I'm an old elf now, so weight is very important. For I used to be a really big Mine Lab guy. I simply love Mine Lab.
And did you find that the XP Deus had a learning curve, or did you find it easy to learn?
It was easy, very easy. I mean, people were calling me left and right. What do you use for your settings? And people would give me their secret settings all the time, and I'd try them out, and it's like, yeah, that's kind of cool, but I go basically with the factory settings, and the ground will dictate what you have to do at that point. Every place is different. So granted, some of those secret settings were kind of cool, but to get there to where I was from, many paths you could go.
That's right, eh? So all the mineralization in the soils, everything makes a huge difference on the settings of the machine. Sometimes it'll work for somebody and it doesn't work for somebody else. Perfect. So the XP Deus is the machine you like to use the most today. When was it that you met the stealth diggers?
About 3 years ago, I was looking on YouTube and looking for people who were close by. So, New Hampshire was my key word. And I see this guy, Charlie. I was like, oh, wow. So I stalked him. Not really. I was able to contact him, and it's history from there on out. I mean, almost daily.
So can you tell me what your favorite find has been to date?
Oh, gosh, really? I mean,
yeah, I know it's one of the toughest ones I ask.
There's some that I can't tell you yet, because we're about 3 to 4 months ahead in taping, because we're coming really quickly into no-dig winter, which puts us into diapolar, sleeping with the insects. And so we have to be that far ahead to make it through, because we do it every single Thursday at 6 o'clock. That show comes out. But believe me, in the 4 months that are coming, there are some unbelievable finds that I can't tell you about. But probably my Remington Civil War era pistol, that really sticks.
How did you do?
Glad you asked.
Because you went off. I don't even know where you went.
Yeah, this back stone wall area.
Yeah.
That leads down to the other place.
Put it in the bag.
It is big. In fact, this is the biggest bingo to date. The biggest bingo to date. I'm not lying. This is big. Big. Andy! What was that, Barney Fife? This is big! I'm not up on...
He won't even let me peek in the bag.
No.
It's big.
It takes up the whole damn bag.
He's digging away. I have no idea. Look at him. He's even turned around because he doesn't want us to see it yet.
I should be up more on these than I am, but I'm pretty sure that this is a Colt revolver.
No.
Shut the front.
Navy Colt revolver. I do believe.
Kidding me?
This is an incredible find. Like I said.
How happy Henry is. Easy.
I was looking for hippies earlier.
Is that 5 or 6 shots?
All right, not too long ago, I had probably the find of a lifetime. What we have here is a 1858 Remington. It's a cap and ball situation. There's little nipples around here where you put the little caps. I cannot stress enough. People walking through fields, woods, around stone walls, cellar holes, do not pass by the big iron. I never do. As you know, hundreds of oxen shoes, plows, whatever. until you come up with one of these babies, it's well worth every dig. Out. And then, of course, when you interviewed both Charlie and Trooper Bry, it was the buckets, and that was really weird.
Welcome, everybody, to this episode of Relic News. This week, I'll be featuring Digger Charlie from the Stealth Diggers.
Live free or die. That's right.
When I asked him what his most memorable hunt was.
Now, what would you say your most memorable hunt has been?
Well, one that stands out from this summer was with myself, Keebler, and Trooper Bry.
This is on.
A shield.
Is it heavy?
Most memorable moment.
Well, you know it. Buckets.
The buckets, yeah.
Episode was, honest to God, Henry Keebler was creeped out by that. He would not dig that up. He saw it. He didn't want to touch it.
Why did you not want to dig up the buckets?
Well, only because of a couple different things. It may have been somebody's pet.
Go ahead. Take a guess. Take a guess? Take a guess.
Aside from an animal?
It's not dead.
It's not
It's
dead.
not alive, but it's not dead.
It's alive but not dead? That they buried out there? Or, like Trooper Bryce said, could have easily have been a dismembered body. You never know.
That's going to be my most memorable hunt for a while, wondering what was in those 2 5-gallon pails. Thankfully, as soon as I lifted the first one out, I could tell right away it wasn't 8 heads in a duffel bag.
You didn't want to know. You didn't want to.
And, looking back at you is like nightmare material.
But it was actually somebody's doomsday horror.
How about some breath savers?
What? Are you kidding me?
Somebody's buried their survival kit out here.
Did anybody see that? Did anybody come up and say, hey, I know who buried those, or I know who those belong to?
No, we figured out through the expiration date. See, everything was way past expiration date. The Vienna sausages weren't sausages anymore. It was like a soup. You could hear them in there. It turned out with the expiration date, they were prepping for the turnover from 1999 to 2000, when everybody said it's the end of the world.
I don't know if I would have dug it. I don't know if I would have opened them. I think my curiosity would have gotten better of me. Or would I tell Eric, honey, can you come and do that? And the rocks, I think, were piled as well. You showed how there was rock.
Yeah, I thought it was a well at first, and it was like, oh, there's something near this well. And move the rocks, it's not a well. And still, it just, I mean, with anybody, you get a signal, curiosity gets right in there. It's like, I just got to know what it is.
But then revealing a bucket, down. Oh my.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was gonna say, what was your most memorable hunt? But it seems that Brian and Charlie, they both had that one as a memorable hunt. Would you say that the buckets was your most memorable as well?
Well, stuff like that happens to me all the time, so they're all memorable. Probably the most memorable one was when Charlie and I actually found what we call Saskatchewan. Well, video number 44, the map to Saskatchewan. up in 96. I'm certain it's a quarter. That's a lot of dirt. Wow. Whoa. Wow. Whoa. The legend. We're way out there.
Way up in the woods,
Way up in the woods.
we find a cellar hole.
Unfriggin' believable. Virgin sites.
No doubt, Virgin. I'm not going to show it to you, but there's 58 listings on there for home sites. 58 that are not on any current maps, because this place has been gone for 200 years, without a doubt.
60 places. And then just a little bit further, return to Saskatchewan, 46. And then a lot of them from there on out. There's still a handful, probably 8 holes that we have yet to visit. There's just that many.
Wow, so you still have like 8 holes that could still be virgin cellar holes.
Exactly, yes. And in fact, within an hour from where I live, there's approximately 500 to 600 cellar holes. It's just...
Wow, now what happened to all these towns? How come there's so many ghost towns in the area?
Well, they're not so much ghost towns. They were just little communities on what we call dead roads, Class 6 roads now. We theorize a lot about it. Being, if you look back into history, a lot of the people left to either go to the Revolutionary War or the Civil War, the 1812 War, and never returned. Being that they were killed in action, of course. And so that homestead was gone, and slowly but surely, the next one, and...
And then they just all kind of disappeared, and...
Yeah. And if you look on old maps compared to new maps, the center of town isn't where the center of town used to be. It happens a lot. Yeah. Which is a hidden, long-forgotten village of over 60 holes. And believe me, those cellar holes were very precious to us. It's just beyond belief.
I can definitely see how that can be the most memorable. I mean, to discover a location that you've researched and tried to find and actually finding it, nothing feels better.
Oh, yes.
Now, tell me, has there ever been a find that has eluded you? Is there something that you've never found and it's just missed your coil?
Well, I was going to give up metal detecting, was it last year? Because I thought I found it all. It was the episode, the gun, the dead guy, and the hippies.
So a couple days after that, he and I go out, and we have another Keebler moment, a Keebler find that's kind of like the buckets, if you recall that. Yeah, he calls me on the radio for these things, and just watch.
All right, so I went up further up the road, found a hole, and pounded the desk. Keebs calls me on the radio, concerned. All right, what do you got, or what do you think you see?
Well, I think I see blue jeans, a hoodie, an orange vest, hat, leant up against a tree. Boy, from this angle, I swear it's a dead guy out there.
So, if you look, right out there, that is a friggin' dead guy leant up against a tree.
Oh my God.
See the arms, the hat, the vest, the pants. I swear, it's a dead guy leant up against that tree. When I thought we found a dead guy out in the woods, it's like, I found it all. That's it. As of right now, if that is a person, that's the end of my bucket list. I'm done hunting. That's it. I've found it all. But come to find out, it was just it was a prop for a hunter, so that deer would get used to seeing this guy sitting up next to a tree. You know, he'd go out there and he'd kick it over and he'd sit there and wait for the deer to come by. But believe me, Charlie and I walked very slow. It took us 10 minutes to walk 50 yards. Just kept looking at it and it's like, it's a guy and he's dead. Well,
I'm definitely going to go back. So what would you say has been the most challenging thing in metal detecting?
the most challenging thing? I don't know, but before Stealth Diggers, the old door knocking thing, you know, because we used to love to go and just do, oh, there's an old Victorian, let's knock on the, you know, it's like, get out of here, get off my lawn.
Stuff like that. So asking for permissions you found to be the most challenging.
Well, kind of, sort of. I mean, it's the nervousness of going up. Will I be accepted or not? You know, and lots of times people are like, really? Well, tell me more. And
They do. Yeah, I know. It's the initial going up and knocking. What we've been trying to do actually is when we see them outside, we go and approach them while they're outside, and especially the farmers, you see them walking to their barn or something and they're not in the fields or something, and we've been mostly successful then. It's like you're not interrupting them and you're not knocking at the door, you know? So.
most of the farmers around here I know. In fact, there's a farmer I don't know. And so we just go out and hit their fields. It's exclusive.
If you had one tip to give to metal detectorists, what would it be?
It depends on what type of metal detectorist they are.
Let's give one, since, I mean, you guys hit the cellar holes. If you were to give one tip to a metal detectorist, we'll say that is going to a cellar hole for the very first time, what would be your tip?
9 times out of 10, there's nothing inside the cellar hole. Everybody has that thought. Jump into the hole, and it's like nothing. Very few times will there be something in the hole. It's around what Charlie calls the lip of the hole. I take the big orbits. I follow those walls all the way around to the back 40, and you know that's where I find a lot of these amazing finds, or way out in the fields, which are now forests.
Hey, wow, you know, that is really funny, because I think the very first time I found a cellar hole, I did exactly that. I jumped right in, and all I could get was all the copper wires and the nails, and I was just like, I probably spent like an hour or so in there. I've even tried to dig some of the top off of it, and
yeah,
yeah, it's my very last thing. If I can't find anything else, if we don't have it, it would be my very last place to look.
Yeah.
Do you prefer finding stuff that has, do you prefer finding personal items to somebody, or do you prefer the relics?
Oh gosh,
Horseshoes?
oxen shoes, yeah. Oh, between 200 and 300 a year. I know. That's just a big ongoing joke, and believe me, it's that many a year. You just got to dig them. They sound good. But what do I prefer? You know, I love state copper coins. They're in the 1700s. Anything from the 1700s, I yippee about all the time.
So you would say state coppers is what gets you the most excited. It's one of the most exciting finds.
Yes, yeah.
So a lot of people can find you on the Stealth Diggers videos. Where else can they find you in social media? You're on Facebook. Is there anywhere else?
Well, Facebook, and I have my own page. I hardly ever put anything on there. The only thing I put on there is like charts and stuff, so people can reference whatever buttons and such. But I'll just always post on Stealth Diggers. In fact, I have my own YouTube page, which I hardly ever go to. In fact, the first couple of years I had just my goldfish swimming back and forth, and I had like 1,800 hits. I was like, and it was like, oh, really cool fish, Keebler. And so I put a few more on there since, just weird things, but nothing to the quality of Stealth Diggers. Charlie does a very good job in the video department.
Right now, neither as the rest of the detecting community. Talk! I said talk! Never! Are you ready to talk now?
Tell me where your nickname Keebler comes from.
Oh, way back. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Number 27, me and Mr. Keebler, we were at a 1700s house, and there was this huge maple, which was all still growing, 10 feet across, but the center was all hollowed out. So I just got in there, and I was like shaking the leaves and everything. I was like, "Welcome to Keebler's," and just from there, just Bob was like, Keebler, and so it just stuck from there.
That's so cool. After you being in the hobby for so long as well, do you have any goals for 2017?
Well, to back up to a question, an eluded find, probably a George Washington button, which I have yet to find.
Oh. Those are quite rare, aren't they?
Yeah.
They are, right?
Because, gosh, we find hundreds of buttons a year from 1700s to glass ones, and just never found that one.
Do you love buttons? Do you like finding buttons?
Oh, yes. Buttons are very, very cool. It's a personal item that was either dropped from the sewing basket or just ripped off, because, gosh, the manual labor that these people in the 1700s, 1800s did to build their home site was incredible. They were lifting these huge rocks and probably popped a few buttons or...
Incredible. That's true. They were saying along those, I don't know how they built all of those walls, those stone walls. It must have taken them a lifetime.
Had to have. In fact, there's this really strange formula for the amount of mileage there is of stone walls in just in New England and probably New York State. The people, the amount of people and everything, they would have had to put something to the effect of 200 feet every minute of stone wall, which isn't right, but I did the math too, and it's like, some of these had to have been here pre-colonial.
Wow. Do you think, I wonder if it would have had to have been the whole community gotten together and did that, you think?
Well, when it comes to stone walls, especially along roads, the people who lived along them were they were responsible for keeping the road up and making those walls, and of course around their property and such. Hey, a phone call. Let me check. Iva huge arse? Is there an Iva huge arse? Who is this? Prank call. Iva huge arse. What the?
Oh my gosh. Let's see. There's oh yes. You wore your grandmother's fur coat. Was it your grandmother? Whose fur coats were those with Brian? I mean...
Are you asking who they belong to?
I'm just curious on where you got them and where that idea came from.
So now I was going through Trooper Bry's Facebook photos when I came across is him wearing a fur coat. I just had to ask what was up with these photos.
What's that all about?
Well, if you're in stealth diggers, you're going to do crazy stuff. So for the big one last June, we were out in one of our areas, and we wanted to do, the whole video is full of the Sam Squanch things, where we hear Sam Squanch, where you can see a figure in the background in fur. So Keebler dragged these women's fur coats out of the attic, but in some of the scenes you can see us, walking around in the background, and there was even a...
Anything, Brian?
I don't think so. I think it's a deep piece of iron, one of those mineralized rocks that you guys are getting tones off of.
Look in the back. Could you imagine if we actually did run into the beast? Run, you fool!
Well, the brown one I've had a very long time, and yes, I think it was in the family. The silver one that Brian was wearing, I've only had maybe 5 years, and I'm in the entertainment business primarily. I have a huge sound company that tours, and we do anything from presidential hopefuls to rock bands, and there and back, plays, whatever. So, and upon doing so, I used to also have a recording studio. And so I used to have anything and everything that you could think of, for making noise, instruments, to do Foley stuff, which is, the post-production of noise, running in the gravel and everything, and stuff like that. And so I just collect weird things, and I have those jackets.
Let's see. You guys have hunted with a lot of different people.
We are constantly barraged by people. Dude, I gotta come up and visit with you. I was like, where are you? Texas. It's like, you better leave now. True. People are constantly calling. We try to accommodate what we can, who we can. And then, of course, we have a lot of friends in the area from, like, Silver City. There's Carol and Howard, who we love to go out with them. Howard's quite a hoot.
Do you know who traveled the furthest to actually hunt with you guys?
Well, that would have been Spectrum Bill, of course. And he came back again with another bill. There's people from, like, the Jersey area. The Stealth Doctor came up. Of course, one of the originals, Kurt from the Hoover Boys, came up. The group Highly Collectible came. And of course, probably second place would be the group from Illinois when they came up, and that's not too far back in we called it Stealth Stock. And we found all kinds of things. We even found a timber rattler.
What's a timber? Is that a snake?
It's a venomous snake, the only venomous snake in New England. Yeah.
No, it's too cold here, and I'm glad I have a cold, but winters can be tough, but at least we're not invaded by ticks and poisonous snakes and spiders and all that sort of stuff, so I'll keep my cold.
So ticks aren't up there as rampant as around here?
Oh gosh, no, not at all. The tick season is very, very small, very short because of the cold. It kills them off. We really have 2 months of nice weather. We only have about 2 months. Besides that, where spring and fall is very cold. Nights are almost freezing. So they don't like it here, and that's okay because we don't like them either.
Well, it used to be that way here, but they've slowly migrated. I mean, Connecticut, Rhode Island was bad, and it's slowly working its way. I mean, must be global warming, I guess. Oh, wait, climate change. Yeah. Yeah.
Are you a musician?
Oh, yes. A major portion of the Stealth Diggers are musicians. We do the live feed on Facebook, and we'll all be sitting there. We got drums, guitars, bass, everything, and we'll just hoot and holler and have a great time.
So what do you play?
Well, when I got out of the service, I went to college and I became a music major. So I played just about everything.
Wow, that's impressive. And that's it. Charlie, I know he uses all his original music, which is just amazing.
Yes.
That's cool. You guys even jam together.
Oh yeah. I mean, we just go for it.
But wow, that's incredible. I've seen how many of you actually group up. Do you guys do this weekly? Is it, do you guys get together weekly or as often as possible, or?
Well, Charlie and I only live about, not even 5 miles away from each other. So it's like I said, a daily thing for us. Jen is there with Charlie, Keebler-san, Kyle, my son. So we're more apt to be there every single time, whereas other people may live an hour or 2 or 3 away. So it's like a rotating thing. What we're trying to do before the snow flies is get as many of us together as possible.
Wow, we even got more questions on here. This is awesome. So are you going metal detecting today?
It rained yesterday, and it's raining still today. But what happens is Charlie will be working on the video. I'll go out and recon the area. Because you can sit there all day and look on Google Maps, the old aerials, and even use LiDAR. But until you get your feet on the ground in the places, it's still too much of a hit or miss. And it gets dark now around 4:30. So every second counts when we're not detecting. And a day like yesterday, which I did go out and I found 2 dead roads, and I'm going to go back today and I have to walk those dead roads without a detector, because I never do that. I always wait for my buddy. And if I find a site, we'll go back there probably tomorrow.
Wow, so you'll go in and scope out of a site without your gear. I mean, I'm sure that helps with the amount of walking you have to do, right? Not hauling all the gear.
Yeah, gosh, there's a lot of walking, and it's always uphill, and I find it kind of funny. We'll take these young guys out with us, and after about 10 minutes, they're like, they're looking at me. I'm in my 60s, and they're like, "How do you do this?" It's like, I do it every day. That's how I do it.
That is really cool. Oh my gosh, it was so wonderful speaking with you. I am so happy we finally got a chance to talk, because like I said, since the beginning, since I first saw you there, I loved your character. I really do. I love your character. You're a lot of fun, and keep it up. You look like you're always having fun.
We always do. I mean, that's our biggest motto. If you're not having fun, why do it? On the road again. I just can't wait to get on the road again. The life I love is making music with my friends. And I can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again. Going places that I've never been. Seeing things I may never see again. And I can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again. Like the band of gypsies we go down the highway. We're the best of friends, insisting that